Hey, what's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and these are my 10 favorite hardcore albums of 2020 so far. And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. Let's get into it. Alright, kicking things off, we have Virginia band Mattachine with their album Isolation as a Form of Torture. Self-described on their Bandcamp page as gay as fuck metallic hardcore, this band likes to tackle LGBTQ issues in some of the most vicious and genuine sounding tracks I've heard all year. Whether the lyrical content spurs your interest or not, the utterly demented vocals and wailing feedback should be more than enough to warrant giving this a serious listen. How can I make sense of this? The newest album on this list, Twin Cities Rot, get pretty punishing with their highly topical new album As One via War Against Records. Featuring ex and current members of Nanashi, Swing Low, While God Sleeps, Mythia, Silencer, and War Prayer, this quintet clearly has experience in setting circle pits ablaze. Furthermore, Rot have no qualms in speaking their minds on a plethora of social issues over the course of the album. As One is a hard-hitting, unapologetic look at the current state of things presented from Rot's ever-unflinching, no-nonsense point of view. Whether you feel the same as them or not, there is no denying how well they've managed to distill the unrest into a very focused 27-minute runtime. Produced by Converge's legendary Kurt Ballou and brought to you by Pure Noise Records, Delaware band Year of the Knife's new album, Internal Incarceration, is an unrelenting torrent of unhinged odes to the addiction and loss that runs rampant in a community hit extra hard by the opioid epidemic. You can practically taste the grief emitting from your headphones, personified by crunchy HM2 pedals and fierce D-beats. Equal parts heartbreaking and headbangable, you won't want to miss out. Denmark band Eyes caught my attention with their amusing but also abrasive video for the track Distance. I'm happy to report that their entire Indisciplinarian debut, Underperformer, maintains this same level of harsh, dissonant noise throughout its runtime. The instrumentation alone is positively battering, but it's the vocals that are the real icing on the cake here. Traversing blackened snarls, deathy growls, more standard fare barks, and a few great blahs for good measure, there's little not to love about this album. Capra just got signed to Metal Blade Records for a full-length, and just on the merits of this Louisiana band's very brief self-titled EP, they absolutely deserve it. There are a lot of bands out there doing the Southern Fried Every Time I Die thing, but few capture the true essence and spirit of that sound as well as Capra. From the highly infectious riffs to Crow's powerful presence and irreverent delivery, I am beyond stoked to see what their new material has in store for us. I've been following 156 Silence for a few years now, and it's been cool to see them hone their sound and evolve into something bigger and better with each subsequent release. With Irrational Pull, the band joined their already punchy riffs and D-beats with crunchy bass grooves and some very Daughters-esque clean vocals. It's amazing how quickly these guys can flip the switch from ketamine trip to utter destruction with scarcely any warning. Can't wait to see what they cook up next. Featuring current and former members of Counterparts, The Dillinger Escape Plan, Fit for an Autopsy, Misery Signal, Shai Hulud, and Reign Supreme, it's no wonder that New Jersey project End turned some serious heads this year with splinters from an ever-changing face via closed casket activities. Whew, that was a mouthful. True to its title, this is 33 minutes of absolutely punishing intensity with no reprieve. Honestly, you'll be lucky to get out of this one alive. While the final two albums on this list scored big points for originality, as far as back to basics, in-your-face hardcore music, Maryland band Sharptooth knocked it out of the park with Transitional forms via Pure Noise Records. Equal parts aggressive and just plain fun, this was a record I had a really hard time putting down. Catchy but also potent, and even featuring a guest appearance that shouldn't work but does from Anti-Flag's Just Insane, these are songs that I can't wait to experience live when the venues finally open their doors again. UKbanned Loathe absolutely blew me away this year with their sophomore effort I Let It In and It Took Everything via Sharptooth Records. Aside from also having one of the best titles of 2020, I am absolutely in love with their trademark fusion of groove-ridden metallic hardcore a la Vane with Deftones-approved drifting cathartic post-metal. This is easily one of the most simultaneously addictive, passionate, and hard-hitting albums of the year. Be sure to also check out my interview with vocalist Kadeem France on the podcast. Alright, these last two albums are basically tied for my favorite of 2020, but like it or not, I still have to give my number one spot to Pittsburgh band Code Orange's latest outing, Underneath, via Roadrunner Records. Aside from stepping up everything that was so punishing about breakout album Forever, Underneath finds the band experimenting with industrial, electronic, nu metal, and alternative to the point that it's debatable whether this can simply be labeled as hardcore anymore. While there seem to be just as many haters as diehard fans of this project, I am always in favor of bands willing to push the envelope and mature their sound without losing its essence in the process. And that's it, y'all. That's my 10 favorite hardcore albums of the year so far. Let me know down in the comments what your favorites are, which albums on this list do you totally agree with, which ones did I miss? Let me know. Let's have a conversation. Also, stick around because there's plenty more for you to enjoy on this channel. In addition to lists, I've got full album reviews. Again, I have the podcast where I interview the bands. I've got tier lists where I talk about a band and its albums and rank them. You name it, we've got it. So plenty of reasons to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, in the description, you can find links to our social media, the email newsletter, our Patreon, and Subscribe Star if you want to make that extra jump to becoming a full-on supporter. Would really appreciate it. And metaltrenches.com, of course, for even more content for you to enjoy. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.